Hello and welcome to a podcast about something. Calvin Houck here with Eric Ladwig. Today we're talking. This is a podcast about basketball. We're going to talk very little actual NBA or college basketball because football season just ended and we haven't really dived into.
I haven't adjusted yet.
Yeah,
I'm still going through withdrawals. You know,
I agree.
I watched somebody on Twitter. It's so funny. This girl that goes by @LindsayOK, and she's like a Ravens beat writer, and she's very pretty, obviously, but she's also super witty and smart, and it's just a great follow. But she goes, "I watched
another great follow at APA something."
APA something, yes. But she made the point. She goes, "I watched an effing NASCAR race, people, today. I cannot live without football," or something along those lines, and I just laughed to myself out loud, you know, just looking at my phone. Somebody probably thought I was weird, but it made me laugh. So
that is the state of our life right now.
The same withdrawals. I can't live without football.
I agree. Anyway, so we're going to talk about basketball, a lot of fictional basketball, because that's more interesting and more timeless.
It'll be fun stuff.
The NBA season is going to be over soon enough. We'll probably talk playoffs when that comes around because that's interesting. But right now, not much interesting going on in the NBA besides LeBron likes to trade his whole team.
LeBron wanted to trade his whole team. Honestly, you know what? I listen to a lot of sports radio, and I've heard all about it. And I woke up one morning, and it was after the trade deadline passed, and I'm like, what the hell happened with
I still don't
the
know who's
LeBron
on the
trades?
Cavs.
Like these Cavs trades, like all of a sudden they overhauled their roster completely. There's no D-Wade, there's no Derrick Rose anymore. Derrick Rose was released like ceremoniously from the Jazz as soon as they traded for him, and D-Wade had a victorious homecoming to Miami, and I thought that was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was great. He deserves that. And, you know, it's just those are some very interesting trades, and I don't think they've lost since then. Am I wrong? Maybe I know they've won 4 straight or something like that going to the All-Star.
Yeah, they did win a few quickly.
Yeah, so, and you see this roster starting to come together. Jay Crowder never seemed like he fit.
I like Jay Crowder.
I like him too, but sometimes you just don't.
Marquette's always got the one guy that goes pro.
Right?
Got Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, Wesley Matthews.
Yeah. So
Jay Crowder.
A great tradition at Marquette.
Yeah, I guess so. Great tradition of one good guy every year. So, talking about LeBron and his Cavs, let's talk about Space Jam 2, which has been rumored for several years. LeBron has never retired from the NBA in the middle of his peaks, so he doesn't have the same ability to shoot a movie with Bugs Bunny as Michael Jordan did. But there's a lot of talk. LeBron's going to be the Michael Jordan in Space Jam 2 if and when it happens.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That would be great.
LeBron's good.
He was shaky in Trainwreck a little bit, but you also gave him a pass. You gave him the benefit of the doubt and just was like, he's trying to be funny, and it kind of was funny, and you just gave him the benefit of the doubt and said, like, he could be a good little character actor if he's acting within himself.
Yeah. Have you seen the promos for the terrible-looking Whitney Cummings movie with Blake Griffin?
I have not.
It's a terrible. I think it's an Amazon movie or something. It's one of those straight to on demand, and the movie looks terrible. But Blake Griffin has like 3 scenes in the trailer, and he's the highlight of the whole thing.
Oh yeah, then I'll probably.
He's actually very funny. He does stand up, and
I like Blake. I just don't think that he's the superstar player that everybody kind of wants him to be. And
no, probably not.
He's a dunker, and he is a highlight show. He's a human highlight reel. Always has been, but. Blake, I would love to see him get more because I love those those GameFly commercials that he was in. Yeah, those were great. Yeah. Those were kind of funny. I loved it. So I'm all for Blake Griffin being more into the entertainment industry. As well. So,
except he's going to be less in the entertainment industry now because in Detroit there's nothing entertaining in Detroit.
What's his contract like though?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I got to check that out because I don't think he's going to be in Detroit very long. So
Jimmy, can you get on that for us? Let us know what Blake's contract looks like. So anyway, back to the movie. We got to fill out some of these other roles. I think it falls upon us to fill out the roles. Hollywood, they can't do this. This is on us.
It's on us. We got
so LeBron, he's Michael Jordan. The most important roles we got to fill are Bill Murray and Wayne Knight Newman, as you were. Who's going to play those roles? I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it, but I thought that there are plenty of people like it, and it's not. I'm not making comparisons between who I might suggest. And, you can't replace a Bill Murray. I don't think anybody like Wayne Knight exists anymore. I mean, Melissa McCarthy is the closest thing to Wayne Knight.
Honestly, I never thought of that. But anybody Melissa McCarthy into that movie would be really
cool.
Good. Yeah. I was thinking Craig Robinson. A little bit.
He'd be good as the Newman role.
As the Newman role.
I was thinking Hader for Bill Murray.
Hader, okay.
You know, him and LeBron have chemistry from Trainwreck.
I was going to go more Jake Johnson from New
He'd be okay.
He's just.
I don't think he could come in and save the basketball game though.
No, but he's the perfect kind of like middle-aged, out of shape white guy that could play that role. Not that he's out of shape or anything like that,
right.
But he could come in and kind of be that underdog that might drill a shot against the second incarnation of whatever Monstars they decide to.
Yeah, so let's talk about those Monstars. We gotta have. We made a rule for this. We said only one warrior on it because otherwise it would just be all of the warriors.
I mean, it'd be more convenient
because
they're all in California. But
the Monstars would have an easy job picking them off, and that's probably if they wanted the best players in the NBA, they'd probably go there anyways.
Yeah, and Steph is ready-made for movies at this point. I'm just waiting for him to make his debut. So I'm going to go that Steph is probably going to be in this because him and LeBron have a good rapport.
You would say Steph. I would say Draymond playing that Barkley LJ role.
This is why your rule sucks because Draymond and Steph would be fantastic. Clay,
I don't know that he could.
You know, KD,
Durant plays the emotionless card up a little.
Yeah. So I think Steph just being likable and then Draymond being emotional, it would just be a great combination. But if you're going by your role, I think I might lean more to having a personality like Draymond.
So we're gonna go Draymond.
I'm gonna go Draymond. I'm gonna go agree with you.
Let's put him in the Barkley monster. He's Barkley.
Oh God, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So the next I had Embiid for LJ. For Larry Johnson.
And he's got such a personality on social media.
Yeah. You gotta have personalities in this movie.
Exactly, you have to. And all those dudes, save for maybe what's his name, Bradley.
Sean Bradley.
Bradley.
Yeah, he didn't do much.
Have much of a personality, but everybody else did. I mean, you had Barkley in there, like he said. So
yeah. Well, see, but that's the thing. Barkley and MJ are best friends off the court, so it was smart to put in Barkley there. So would you want Wade then somewhere, or I don't think Wade fits in.
When you shoot this movie, is Wade retired?
Probably.
Do they just go after him in his home with Gabby Union? And
like, all
of a sudden Wade can't function as a dad and like as a husband, and
be a shame with Gabby Union right there.
I got nothing. I got no mojo.
So let's do the Bradley role next. This one was hard because there's not a lot of gangly white guys left.
There's not a lot of gangly white guys. I don't think you need a gangly white guy.
You need a gangly something.
What about Kristaps?
Yeah, Porzingis.
Porzingis
as long as he comes back from injury, before they make the movie.
Obviously, but
the I don't know what his personality's
really ready to pop.
Yeah,
as far as a pop culture icon.
He's chasing after the Instagram models, so he might fit in there.
Like I said, getting ready to pop as like a real household name in the United States. Obviously, in basketball circles, he is one of the top 10 players in the league right now. But having him, just for international diversity's sake, and the fact that he does have a personality, he does play awesome, actually, and
yeah, he's good. This Monstars team is actually probably better than the Toon Squad. I mean, we're getting really good players here
these days, but you don't have your 5 foot.
We need some guards here. So I didn't know who to go with on this. I had a few options. You got Lonzo Ball just because of his status, I guess, with his dad being crazy, but I don't know that he's maybe in 3 years he'll have proven himself enough to be in a movie where he's actually good. You got Chris Paul, he could fill the best friend role that Barkley filled.
That's what I was kind of going along with you with. When you said CP3, I was like, that's probably the best choice out of all the options you offered.
Yeah, because Melo might be gone, Wade might be gone.
I think Lonzo kind of has a degree of, I want to use the word polarizing. I never blame Lonzo for his father's transgressions in the media, and the way he's kind of trying to dictate the way the Lakers are.
Well, Lonzo's also kind of he doesn't say much. He sticks to himself. He doesn't put himself out there because his dad's busy doing that.
He doesn't detract what his dad says. He doesn't try to make it better, but he also doesn't say anything.
Right.
I think this kid's just trying to get a feel for the lay of the land in the NBA for once. And honestly, I bet if you asked him, he would probably ask for dad not to say anything if he was being completely honest. But Lonzo, I think, let's see where they are when they actually start shooting this, because I do think he's got some star power.
If he's a top 10 point guard at that point, you might want to bring him.
I don't hold what his family does, in Lithuania against what he's trying to do as an NBA rookie. So it's just it's really hard for the kid because I do respect it.
So if we're making this next year, Lonzo's out. CP3 is a good front runner. But I had a couple antagonizing.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
CP3's Allstate commercials were really
he's very good. Yeah.
He was very good. So I think
Oscar from The Office is in those, and they're dancing.
So I think that would be a perfect jumping board, to be in this movie. And obviously, he's really close with LeBron as well.
I also had Pat Beverly or Lance Stevenson as kind of antagonizing characters as the Muggsy role.
I don't think either one of them have the star power to.
Yeah, but Lance really gets on LeBron. If the Monstars really wanted to get to LeBron, they'd go after Lance.
Yeah, right.
They weren't just trying to win a basketball game; they're trying to get under LeBron's goat. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and say I just thought of this. What would happen if LeBron's character in the movie, as LeBron obviously playing with the Toon Squad, was able to recognize the abilities and know who they were and help them get back to their normal self? Like, oh, you're Chris Paul.
That would be LeBron-esque.
I know who you are.
Because that's something LeBron does that Jordan didn't. We
can devise to take the plot in another direction.
Right, yeah, and he can kind of see. He's a distributor and a floor general in a way that Jordan wasn't really. Yeah. Jordan made everyone around him better because the defenses had to focus so much on Jordan. Mm-hmm. But LeBron recognizes strengths and
plays them up.
Yeah, plays them up. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So yeah, that would be an interesting way to take it. Mm-hmm. Hollywood, we're listening. Call us. So we got the Patrick Ewing role still. I had a couple options here. You got Giannis, who's budding. Would be perfect. You got DeAndre Jordan, who's on a downslope. I don't think he would make it. I don't know
if this movie gets made, I don't think his personality is going to be.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be captivating. And then you got Boogie Cousins.
Boogie's controversial.
I think Boogie might be the one.
I love Boogie too. I love his game. I love how big and just menacing he can be. I mean, obviously,
pop out and hit the three these days.
The way he did, but Boogie. DeMarcus Cousins would be fantastic. I think he would be a perfect personality to have in this movie.
So
Anthony Davis, though, to speak of the Pelicans.
Brow? Yeah, he would be
Brow would be. Could you imagine like a cartoon monster
Brow might
having
be able
a brow? And LeBron's like, oh, you're AD. Like,
the Brow might be able to be the Sean Bradley role too, though.
Yeah, true. Very good.
But I think the Brow, he's not as charismatic either as some of these other guys. You got to have some,
might be a forcing of it. But these are all secondary options.
Yeah, Giannis is charismatic. He's just a little hard to understand with the thick Greek accent still.
Not only that, but he's in Milwaukee. And
what is your problem with Milwaukee? We're a pro-Milwaukee podcast here. I lived in Milwaukee.
I am totally pro-Milwaukee. I love
the Brew Crew.
I love the Brew Crew. I got respect for A-Raj. I got, the whole Wisconsin vibe. I get it. Like, I have family that lives out there. I love Wisconsin. Okay, so I'm just saying, as far
cheese is great.
The national media is concerned, in basketball circles, Giannis is revered, and everybody knows. Like, even Magic Johnson.
Team Steph would have won the All-Star game. He was
even Magic Johnson's getting in trouble for tampering, quote unquote, of just complimenting. I would. I'd do it. Find me. I don't care. I want Giannis to come to my team, whoever it is. Just point being is, I think that he's going to face a different battle than a person like LeBron or Steph Curry. San Francisco is a much bigger market. Giannis doesn't get the love that he should because he's amazing.
I love you, Giannis.
Yeah, so we're big Giannis people here. I don't even attempt to butcher your last name, sir, but
Antetokounmpo.
Oh, there you go. All right.
I wasn't ready there.
There you go. Thank you.
So our Monstars, just to wrap up, we got Draymond. We got Joel Embiid. The Zinger.
It's already looking like a great.
Porzingis. I think we went with CP3 for the Muggsy. And then we went Boogie. That's a studly team. I'd pick them up in NBA 2K. Giannis. I think we fill his role with Porzingis and Draymond. I think that's too many.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Big long wings.
I'm in. I'll go see that movie.
If Porzingis is hurt at the time, we sub Giannis in for Porzingis.
I don't know how you hurt a Monstar. But, in the event that it happens, LeBron's indestructible, so you might just run
more on mountain. I don't know the rules there. Yeah.
Coming out of the locker room.
So do we bring in Delonte Weston anyway?
Oh, my God.
Delonte West and Lance Stevenson. Delonte West and Lance Stevenson as coaches on the team.
You really think this is like LeBron going back to Cleveland and trying to work with Dan Gilbert and expecting Dan Gilbert to be a serviceable owner? Like... He walks into this movie and all of a sudden the producers say, we want to bring in Delonte. That is just rip up the contract. LeBron's out. I'm leaving.
If you don't know what's going on with Delonte, and you're listening to a basketball podcast, I'm not going to go into it. Just Google Delonte West and LeBron's mom. You'll figure it out quick.
Oh, no, you started too. Oh, God. I'm sorry, Mr. James. I really am.
Jimmy just got me those contract numbers.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And Blake is under contract till 2021-22, so he's got a few years still.
He's going to get out of that deal. He's got to have the way these pro contracts work is that the team probably does want him, but they get a good vibe for how the guy feels. Like he probably doesn't want to be in Detroit. I would be very surprised, and that's not an insult to Detroit. It's just he's been a Clipper. He's been in LA.
It's a big change from LA.
And it was something the Clippers had to do to kind of reboot. They knew they kind of weren't getting much out of their current roster. However, you kind of got to get a vibe for what these guys are doing. And Detroit's going to be on the hook for millions and millions of dollars for Blake Griffin. So if they wanted to be jerks about it, they could hold him to his deal and make him play. And I would hope that that's not the case, because it's not really a good business plan as for an organization to hold people that don't want to be there.
Right.
So it's just I would be very surprised to see Blake Griffin be there for more than 2 or 3 years more.
Yeah. Well,
we might give it a shot for a year next season, and if it's still a bad vibe, then they probably just need to part ways as just as professionals. So
yeah, Detroit might have a pretty good team though with Blake there and Reggie Jackson, and
it's just a matter of
I don't really like Reggie Jackson, but yeah, so, Drummond is he's good. He's an all-star.
He wants to live in Michigan. So
after being in LA, that's a tough move.
That's a tough transition.
Well, and there's a lot of talk he wants to be in Oklahoma City because he's from there.
Yeah. And obviously,
Paul George and Melo might be moving on from there soon, so they might have some space to trade for him.
Yeah. And you know what? That would probably be a perfect landing spot. I actually do think him and
Russie as the energy squad.
Yeah, I like that. It's exciting. I mean, they might not win championships, but that's definitely.
We're getting a little too real again. Let's pump the brakes and go back into more fictional things.
I agree.
Let's play pretend. Eric and I, we're going to build our fictional starting 5 plus 2 bench players because we couldn't narrow it down to 5. We're bad at numbers.
Too many good basketball movies.
Yeah, so we're gonna pick our fictional starting 5 each from basketball movies or episodes of TV shows. We got one at every position, basically. We're just going to go 5-to-1, center, power forward, small forward, shooting guard,
couldn't pick the same
point
guys.
Guard. Yep.
Couldn't pick the same
guys.
Yeah,
we couldn't pick the same guys. We kind of did it as a draft, but we're not going to do it here as a draft. We're just going to run through our teams. Right. And so you couldn't – another rule was you can't pick players that play themselves, so you can't pick like Kevin Durant and Thunderstruck or like any of the NBA players that show up in Like Mike or Michael Jordan in Space Jam. And you couldn't pick – you can pick NBA players as fictional characters, like Shaq and Penny in Blue Chips. Ray Allen is Jesus Shuttlesworth. Obviously, you can pick him. You can't pick more than one player from the same movie. So you can't do 2 Blue Chips guys.
But I found a good alternative, and we'll get to that when we start talking about it.
So we'll get into that. Another thing that we're really upset that we couldn't choose from because the movie hasn't come out yet. So we couldn't choose from the Uncle Drew movie.
Oh my God, that trailer was incredible.
Might be the best movie ever.
That trailer was incredible. I loved it so much. I'm sitting there in the theater, and I'm sitting with a bunch of people that they're just not.
Because it was the Black Panther showing, and there were just a bunch of people there.
Yeah. But watching this movie, I'm like, is this just a Pepsi ad? Is this just like, did they actually put an actual commercial in to the trailer?
Do that sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. I haven't seen it a whole lot, but then I'm like, this stuff is going on for like 2.5 minutes, like a normal trailer. This is an actual movie. This is going to be incredible.
Reggie Miller in there, Shaq. Who are the other? So it was Kyrie, Reggie Miller, Shaq, and who are the other 2?
Oh, I can't remember at this point. I went Thursday night to go see Black Panther, so.
Friday night.
Oh, I was so excited. But
we're gonna get the Black Panther. Listen to the next episode. That's Black Panther.
Listen to the next episode, please, because I have some wonderful things to say about that movie anyway.
All right, you go first with your center.
My center is Neon Bedeau from Western State.
I've not seen this film ever, so I didn't get any blue chippers.
Disappointing, but I'll take it because I got to pick Shaq essentially as my center, so I automatically gain an advantage.
Yeah, so this is where I had trouble because my center is Shep from Above the Rim. I don't even know who the actor is who played him. He's great in the movie, and he's great at playing pickup ball against Tupac.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can hang with Shaq. That's going to be rough. I think I got you on the power forward spot.
We're going to be feeding it down low to the big guy.
I think I got you on the power forward spot.
All right, you go ahead.
I got Jim Halpert.
You got Jim Halpert, and I was so mad because that was like the first thing I wanted to pick was Jim Halpert.
No, you gotta have Jim.
Krasinski fan, but I went another direction. And I offered Marshall Erickson from How I Met Your Mother.
That's going to be a good matchup.
He's a Minnesota slam dunk champion.
In real life,
also
too,
seems
actually.
very aggressive. Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He went to school with Jason and Jaron Collins, high school.
Very cool. I had no idea.
Heard him on a podcast, yeah. Not this one. Maybe someday.
Yeah, so I took Marshall Erickson because I thought he'd be aggressive in the post. He'd be that scrapper, like the Draymond.
But I don't know if you saw the basketball episode of The Office. That's kind of how Roy was, and Jim locked him right up. Once Jim switched with Michael and switched on to him.
It's going to be a great matchup. So,
I think Jim's got him locked down there. At the 3, I got Jesus Shuttlesworth. Of course. He's going to score 50 points easy. You got nobody that can guard him.
I'm just thinking about Marshall foul him a bunch of times.
That's probably a good plan, but I think Ray can still get it done. What do you have?
I've got Billy Hoyle from White Men Can't Jump.
I got him at the 3.
Not the 3. I'm sorry. I took Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
It's just fun.
He's a good striker.
My team is going to be maybe not win, but they'll be hilarious in the process.
He can drop a good offensive play when his team's on defense.
Exactly. So I'll take Bill Murray at the 3. He's a scrapper. He'll make you laugh. He'll probably take your focus off the game for a second, just talking in your ear. I'm in for the psychological head games. I need a guy on the floor like that. So.
All right. So now go to your Billy Hoyle.
Billy Hoyle from White Men Can't Jump. Absolutely awesome.
He dunked one time.
He did dunk one time. He's got some vertical. I'm in for it. Like I want him on my squad.
Not happening. I got Lola Bunny locking him down.
Oh man.
She's got handles. She can dribble with her ears. You know, plus she's got cartoon rules.
All kinds of options.
She's got cartoon rules. She can stick a stick of dynamite in his pants. Boom, blown up. She's got the ball.
Who's your point guard?
For the main event, Scott Howard, Teen Wolf. The original Teen Wolf. Michael J. Fox version.
I might have the equalizer.
I don't know, man.
Clarence Coffee Black Withers.
He invented the alley-oop.
He can do it all. He can do it all from the guard position. I want this guy running my offense.
Yeah.
I want this dude running my offense because he can do anything that these other guys might be struggling with.
That's true. He invented the alley-oop.
You got to give him the alley-oop. He plays for the Flint Tropics.
He's a Teen Wolf, though. They got a Teen Wolf out there, ref.
Like I said, Marshall, go foul. Marshall, go.
Well, Marshall went up against the Teen Wolf. How I Met Your Mother. He did not handle it well.
He did. The ref wasn't having any of it. He was not listening to Marshall. Kyle, he got a Teen Wolf, Kyle.
Kenny. It was Kenny.
It was. Good pull. So
we got my bench. I got Calvin Coolidge from Like Mike. He does get to carry his magic into. He gets the Like Mike shoes and gets to carry it into the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got Quincy McCall.
Me
neither. I've seen parts of it, bits and parts. Bow Wow's my age, so I came up with Bow Wow.
Who's Quincy McCall?
Quincy McCall from Love and Basketball.
Oh,
USC
star. I did the little research today.
You may like his wife better, Monica McCall. She was much better, but I think Quincy's the way to go.
I have a affinity for USC, so I got.
They both went to USC.
They're what a beautiful couple.
Quincy would have been a Lakers star if he didn't blow out his ACL. So.
I know, that's so sad. My bench would be Jimmy Chitwood.
Also, haven't seen that
from
movie.
Hoosiers, which he has a
missing on classic basketballs.
So Jimmy Chitwood, what he was able to do in the Indiana State playoffs and lead his team to a state title, despite being a very small school from a very rural community. But also, I'm gonna pull a wild card here. Winston Bishop from New Girl. Winnie the Bish. That's what he calls himself.
Winnie the Bish.
That's what he calls himself. If you haven't watched that show, the final season's coming out. It's going to be 8 episodes. It debuts in April. It's hilarious.
Can't wait.
It's hilarious. I love this show, and I'm very sad when it goes off the air. But
I've watched literally
Lamorne Morris, who's going to be in Game Night alongside
Bateman.
Yeah. Alongside with Bateman. And I'm really glad to see Lamorne Morris get it.
I saw that trailer about 15 times. We were at lunch at Ale House today. I saw it about 15 times, couldn't hear the sound, so I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, no, it's going to be a fun movie, I guarantee it. But it's probably one of those Daddy's Home type movies, where it's just a bunch of action and comedy. It doesn't really have any substance, but it's good to see Lamorne Morris get some silver screen time because I'm a big fan.
Hit us with some feedback on whose team's going to win. Because it's definitely Team Kalvin. I'm a little light in the post, but I think Lola's going to.
I think we win via free throws down the line, not from Shaq, but I think.
Yeah, we're just going to go hack a neon.
Yeah, I think we're going to be big in the post. We're going to be very physical, and we're going to get in your head. And I think that's going to take us to a 10-point win over Cal State.
So, Eric, I think those are pretty good starting fives. Let's talk about something that's near and dear to all of us who have played pickup basketball at any point in their life.
It's how we met.
It is.
It's pretty much how we met, yeah.
It is how I met my podcast mate. There's these guys at every pickup game, every open gym that you know them when you see them, and sometimes you want to be on their team. Most of the time, you do not want to be on their team.
Sometimes you just hate them.
Yeah.
You hate the fact that they show up and ruin your day.
Sometimes these guys are all the same guy rolled into one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start off with the Grinder. You know this guy?
The Grinder. Well, I mean, yes, I know this guy because I faced this guy.
Not on the homosexual dating app Grinder. Not that type of Grinder.
We're not getting into that. I will say one thing.
This is the guy. Let's explain who it is. He's the guy who's not very good at basketball, but he's out there to get his exercise, and he hustles, and he probably fouls you hard.
And he is determined to prove his worth.
Yeah. He's not very good, but he wants the ball, and he wants to run at you full speed and hit that layup.
If you're listening to a basketball podcast, what you got to understand is you've probably played a ton of pickup basketball yourself. You've probably played, like whether it was in college, whether you still do it now.
I don't even mind playing with bad people. That's part of playing pickup. Yeah. It's when the bad person is trying to overcompensate with effort and hustle, but is not coordinated enough to focus that effort and hustle.
That's what the Grinder is.
That's what the Grinder is.
They play pain in your backside defense, and they are all up in your shorts, and they are trying way too hard. But you give them the ball in an open layup, they're probably going to miss it.
So when I first moved down here, this guy guarded me a lot in our pickup game because I was fast, apparently, and the Grinder was also fast. Usually they're very athletic and they're fast. They're just not coordinatedly athletic.
They're just not well-rounded in basketball.
So. Right. Yeah. So he was always guarding me, and that was not. Mm-hmm. It was. I liked it. He would leave early, and I always liked the last two games of those days when he was gone.
A little more. I got to guard, win with a little more flow.
I got to guard our friend JP, who is coming up later on the pod that you guys will hear. The next guy's the high school stud.
Oh, the high school stud.
He had his heyday when he was 17 years old. He's never lived it down, and he's just shooting. He's out there shooting. He's never seen a shot he doesn't like. Sometimes he makes it. Most of the time he doesn't.
And refuses to play defense.
Yeah, and he tells you his war stories of when he was good, but for some reason that doesn't translate to the pickup game.
Yeah.
Like you go, oh yeah, I was all state, but.
You don't see it.
Yeah, never seen it.
It's like, how long ago was this?
It likes to play 3-point line to 3-point line.
Go with the chucker. What's the chucker?
The chucker, he's a distant cousin or a close cousin to the high school stud, but he's not. He's never actually been very good.
He didn't get the recognition in school. He's kind of a pickup superstar a little bit. Or likes to think he is.
He's never seen a shot he doesn't like, but his don't ever go in.
Right.
But he'll keep shooting. He's a confidence guy. He'll get that one game every 3 weeks where he hits 4 threes, and you're glad he's on your team that game. But then the next 3 weeks you're like, I can't play with this guy.
I've got a fun story about your next one.
Oh, what do we got? The statue. Yeah, the statue.
Oh no, the coach.
Oh, the coach. My bad. We'll go back to the statue.
The coach. If you're listening right now, all of us have played pickup basketball with the coach.
Oh, yeah.
The older guy, the oldest guy in the gym mostly, or maybe close to it.
Mine have always been younger. Not younger than me necessarily, but not the oldest guy. They're the middle of the pack.
I got a funny story about this guy. And I've run across a few of these, but one that sticks out in my mind is this dude.
So this is the guy, he thinks he's out there running an actual team. He's drawing up plays in his mind, and when you don't run the play that's in his mind, he gets really mad at you. But there's no way that you knew what play was in his mind.
I'm not tooting my own horn when I say this, but in a pickup setting, I'm probably going to be one of the top 3 or 4 players.
You're good.
So,
you got skills. But sometimes you turn into a chucker. You've had off days.
Yeah, I've had off days. Of course, I turn into a chucker. But we all have those moments. But I remember growing up, and I'm being a teenager, we used to go to this church every Saturday morning, my father and I. And we'd play these games. And by the time I hit 16, 17, 18, I'm going off to school, and
19, 20, 25.
I played at a very small school, but I have my couple of years of college basketball experience where I really kind of grew as a well-rounded guy. But this man would make sure I was on his team, and he would make sure that I was exactly where. And when I wasn't where he needed me to be, he would just start complaining and yelling. and then I'd hit a three and shut him up. But this guy, the very next possession, he's like, "Hey, I need you to go here." No, I'm not doing that, dude.
You're not actually my coach.
It takes you 5 steps to get running down the floor on a fast break. Like he would.
They'll definitely be the last person.
This guy would literally take 5 steps to get up the momentum to move across half court on a fast break.
The coach is great at asking for help on defense.
Exactly.
Which leads into the statue, who's also great at asking for help on defense. He just stands in the middle of usually right at about the free throw line, because he guards a post player usually.
And he thinks he's doing a service by creating the outlet between the perimeter and the down low.
And then he's just yelling help.
Yep. He can't cover anybody in the lane, nor can he block shots or as a physical presence.
No.
He can't move.
No.
Probably shouldn't be there or should find another outlet of
exercise. He is more in the way for his teammates than he is actually helping anyone. He's the first one that, when his man beats him, to yell for help. And he's the first one when your man beats you and you think you have help because he's standing there. He's the first one to look at you and throw his arms up. Like, what are you doing letting your guy by?
Yeah, you let your guy by. I was like, you were standing there. I thought I had a little help. Oh, my goodness.
I got one more, and then we'll go on to your guys. The dribbler. And I'll admit I can turn into the dribbler every once in a while because
we all do when things get around.
I don't have a tendency to turn the ball over dribbling. I have a tendency to turn the ball over passing. So I'll try and dribble my way out of things a lot.
I'm a decent ball handler, but if somebody's really talented facing me on the other end, I try to pass and move around as much as possible because
I'll try and dribble to an opening where I can pass because I'm not as strong of a passer as I am a ball handler. And they just dribble. There's not much to it. They're not a skilled shooter.
On their team, it pisses you off.
Yeah,
so much.
I try not to hog the ball with my dribbling. I really do, but I know I can turn into it sometimes where I just get lost.
Where is he going? And he would dribble himself into a trap, turn it over, and then all of a sudden you got to
pick up one between the legs, moves.
You did that once, and I can see you're integrating that into your pickup game now. Very good.
Played a lot of NBA Street back in his day. I don't go that deep with it. I'll just try and dribble myself out of trouble more often than I probably should, and not a great shooter.
So what about the rule maker? The guy that got us into the gym. Okay, there's always. A lot of us will play out.
He overlaps with the coach a lot.
Well, he overlaps with the coach, but this particular individual that's in my head right now, I won't mention names because
I got you.
You know,
we played in the same pickup game for 4 years.
But before I ever met you, there was this guy that he went to the church that we played at and got us this gym access as sort of an outreach program, which was very cool.
A lot of churches do that. Yeah. So I've read.
So he got us into this gym, but if something didn't go his way, he was making the rule that, hey, these rules have to favor me, so I'm on the court as much as possible.
Yep. It's my gym. If you've got a problem with it, you're out of here.
Oh, my God, this guy would piss so many people off. Like, he'd make up these rules out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you'd have these guys sitting down and arguing with him. And he was
normally you go to the gym, and you got somebody who's
self-conscious and volatile.
Yeah, somebody picks teams for you, or you shoot for teams, and this guy's like, no, I'm going to pick my team. I'm going to pick your team, and then I don't like you, so you're not. I don't like you, so you're not going to play for 3 games, though.
Yeah, he'll make up these rules where it's so arbitrary that you just get so mad and people.
Guys standing off on the sideline going, "Why haven't I gotten on the court yet?" Who's your next guy here? Everybody's fond of this guy.
Oh, guys, if you played pickup basketball,
watched Along Came Polly.
Yeah, there is always a sweaty fat guy.
Always.
And dear God, if you play Shirts and Skins,
a lot of times he's the statue.
You've had to touch this guy, and it's a cold sweat.
Yeah,
it's a cold
it's
sweat.
Never like
it's on you, and it's like, oh God, I gotta guard this guy.
It's not the athletic sweat where like you're running up and down with your guy, and you're like trying to arm bar a little bit, and you slip off, and you're just like,
you slip off into his gut, and it's cold, and it's weird, and it swallows you a little bit.
Everywhere you go. Yeah.
There's the sweaty fat guy.
Let's move on from him. I can't think about that guy.
There's the uncannily good old guy. And I got to pay a little tribute here because...
Shout-outs?
I got shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
And there was the father of 3 of my good friends. They were all brothers. And they all played for Dunk City at one point when Dunk City was first...
Except TCU for you
Florida
guys
Gulf
that don't
Coast
know.
University people.
Don't remember the tournament.
But he was the father. This man played at the University of Florida in the 70s. And just was a terrific human being, I should say, first and foremost. But this man had a shot that he would find a way to get himself into space, and he'd go, oh, crap, there he is. And then he would drill the 3. Or he'd find a way to get into the lane and just nail a nice mid-range. And in a game to like 25 by 2s and 3s, he would find a way to have 8 to 12 points. And he'd just be a dude that, all right, he's like in his 50s. I can guard this guy. I'm an 18-year-old. No, you can't guard this guy. He knew too much about the game. He knew too much about what everybody was doing. And he could tell you what you were going to do before you even did it. Yeah, and those are those guys that just piss you off on the court as players. But he's tremendous.
And then you've got adjacent to that guy is the old guy who's really good. Or not really. He's really good at one thing. I like to call him the Uncle Jesse sweet spot guy. Because if you guys watched Full House back in the day, Uncle Jesse was terrible at basketball, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar helped him learn that he could make a jumper from the elbow every time he got it. So he just stood in that spot and he got it. So there's always an old guy who's got the Uncle Jesse sweet spot. In our pickup game, it was this guy named Paul. Run down the court, he'd get to that spot. He'd give you a little head fake at the elbow.
Oh, yeah.
And then
drill it.
And then he'd get to the short corner and drill it every time.
It's 80%. 80% from the elbow.
And then that 20% that he misses, he is so mad at himself. Yeah. Everybody on the team's like, oh, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You know, you made 6 of those already.
All right. And then there's one, and if our friend's going to listen to this, he's going to know exactly who he is. But there's the guy that makes the teams and tries to seem fair, but he ends up on the best team regardless
every time.
He's regardless of what his skill level may be at that point in his life. He always ends up with the tallest player in the gym, the best old player in the gym, the best old guy, and he tries to take our future guest JP. But JP's actually decent. He's got a little bit of game.
He can
do that. It's not the equalizer you think it is. And so he would never pick me.
He's short. JP's short, but he can D you up a little bit, and he's got a wicked pump fake. He's got me several times on that. And you know he's got a good.
I hit him in the head so hard, I scratched him.
We've got him a couple times.
He so hard, he was so mad at me for like a week, and I had to apologize to him profusely. So,
and then he's got the Uncle Jesse sweet spot going too. He'll hit it.
This guy would skew the teams, and I always used to my dad used to come with us at this point in time, and he would be like,
I never played with your dad.
Yeah, but he'd be like, wow, he certainly picked the teams to skew his side. I was like, hey, just watch while we beat him. This is the fun part. Like,
because they didn't always win.
They didn't always win. Because
our tall guy who played college ball, he would take it easy on us a little bit. He would play, but
he was a monster.
Yeah, like, I mean, he was easily 5 inches taller than anybody else playing.
I could not guard this man. And he's 6'7". You know, he liked to call himself 6'7" to downplay, but he's a.
I had the privilege of guarding him a couple times. I held my own against him a couple times,
I'd taken elbows from this guy. Like, he would always be on this guy's team that would pick the teams. Yeah, it would always be because they played together in high school, so they thought it was just a fun part.
Right.
So anyway,
that's why
we got a couple dudes. We got a couple of people to go here, and you all will know what we're talking about. There is the local superstar who makes an appearance in your gym and kicks the crap out of everyone, and then walks out with a smile.
Again, adjacent to the high school stud, but this guy is actually still good. And
no, he comes home from college. Yeah, like he's on spring break.
This is Jason Williams still playing in Orlando pickup games and just working people.
Oh yeah, this is we actually had the privilege of having Teddy Dupay in the gym, and I'm not calling Teddy Dupay this guy. This is the only time he ever made an appearance, and he came out.
I he worked us. I guarded him.
No, I had to guard him too, but. I will say one thing.
He could have made any shot he wanted.
To tell this story.
Tell the story.
Because
I keep cutting you off.
I'm guarding him. And I consider myself
a decent defender. You're a good defender.
In the grand scheme of things. So I'm trying my best. I got my opportunity to guard Teddy Dupay. And so I'm giving it all I got. So he's got me posted up like 3 feet below the free throw line in the lane. Okay? And so he's giving me one move, he's giving me another one. And then out of nowhere, he steps back. He's got his right foot in front of my feet and jumps back off 1 foot, a solid 5 to 6 feet.
I think I remember the play now.
And drills a jumper. I have no chance at defending this shot. I look at this move, and he just drills it as I am like attempting to close the distance, which I wasn't even close at. That's the skill level that we're talking about.
So my uncle once played 21 with my uncle, his buddy, and Mike Woodson, coach of, I don't think he coaches anymore, but he used to be the coach of the Hawks, and he played in the NBA.
Very cool.
So this was when Mike Woodson was in Houston. I don't know if he was an assistant coach there at the time or whatever. My uncle told me the story. They played 21. Woodson spotted them both 19 points, my uncle and his friend.
Oh, no.
torched them. 21 as soon as he got the ball, it was 21 in a row because they don't miss. These people who have played high-level college ball or in the NBA, they just don't miss shots.
Oh, they don't.
And that's like you think like somebody like Teddy Pay who's lost some of his speed and athleticism, so you can keep up with him. But if you give him any space, he's jamming it, and it's going in.
Exactly. That's how well training's got to. And I gotta bring this to another level because I remember when I was playing. I played for Florida Christian. It's now called Johnson University of Florida. It's a very, very small school in Kissimmee, Florida. So we go into North Georgia State, and it's a military college. And there was this one guy, and I had to defend the best guard on their team, so that was my job. This man had transferred to North Georgia State. He was a native of the area that this college was located.
The 2 Chainz?
No, it was, I don't even remember his name.
2 Chainz, low-key, very good at basketball.
He walked on at Duke, okay? If you're good enough
so it's like Randy Moss playing at Marshall?
Yes. I had to guard that. He's laughing at me. And I consider myself a very serious defender. He's like kind of got a little chuckle on his face as he's stepping back from 6 feet beyond the arc to drill one in my face. He probably had 38 points that night. And that's something I never gave up. But that just tells you just the
skill level
in the skill level. I did my one feather in my cap. I nailed the game winner in Teddy's face. It was a prayer. It was a prayer of a shot that I had just gotten, and I threw it up fading, and it happened to go in, and he was mad about it. So I just.
And at AU, I played against Wayne Ellington, Gerald Henderson, and Earl Clark one time. They beat us by 50.
Yeah.
But we played against them. I hit it, banked in a 3 over somebody, whoever their backup point guard was.
So you got your little fight.
Yeah. Probably wasn't any of those 3 guys. But
all right, moving on. I know that was a little bit longer.
Yeah, we got 2 more guys to go through.
The guy that refuses to play any semblance of defense but wants the ball all the time.
He claps a lot.
You know this guy.
Yeah, we're not going to call him out because he may someday listen to this, and he probably he probably doesn't know himself as this person.
I know.
He probably thinks he's really great.
I know.
He's the best defender on the court.
To an extent, he really is. He really is. Like, I love battling with this guy, but I also know that I can score on him.
He would defend you a lot, and he would try and play defense 3 out of the 15 possessions, but the other 12, he's just like, no, I'll get my shots.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to save energy for offense.
And then I'd get yelled at for not helping on D.
And there's finally everyone's...
That stupid spin move you do.
The bane of everyone's existence. The guy that argues every call and shuts down the game over a travel or a foul or... Double dribble or something, a carry.
Long Euro step.
And this guy's appalled.
Yeah.
You would call a travel on him after taking 4 steps on his way.
Usually grabs the ball and walks to the other end of the court. Says, ball up.
He'll hook your arm. And wonder why you called him foul.
Yeah.
You will get all ball, and then he'll call a foul on you.
And he'll go, come on, and then he'll argue with you for 10 minutes.
Really? You're not giving me that? Really? And then he'll argue for 10 minutes. And he's so bitter the rest of the night, too. Yeah. It creates such a weird cloud over the game. So that's the fun. Yeah. That's the fun dynamic of playing pickup basketball.
Yeah, give us some feedback on some guys that we left out.
Yeah,
there's some guys.
Out. I was trying really hard.
The impossible layupper, he's in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we've played with a couple of those. There's some more guys. So if you got any more, throw them at us.
Feed it back, man. I want to talk about this more. Yeah. This is fun.
We're gonna move on now. We're gonna take a break for a minute, and then we're gonna call our buddy JP to talk about NBA All-Star Weekend. This is our only actual basketball, like real basketball.
Could have been in Los Angeles at a more perfect time.
Yeah. So we'll be back in a couple of seconds here with that. All right, Eric. We're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna have our first call-in guest. We're gonna call our buddy JP. He and I we like to bet on the All-Star Weekend festivities, and I won some money off him this week. So, you ready to bring him in?
I'm ready to bring him in. This was when we first started formulating this little podcast.
This was always the idea.
JP Mojica, a well-educated individual from the Philippines, who also has a very distinct affinity for basketball, offers some tremendous opinions.
Got mad handles.
And I thought this
his
was
brother has better handles, and every time they play together, breaks his ankles too.
Oh my God. But JP's pump fake. It will get you.
It gets me a lot. It's gotten me a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring him in. JP, how you feeling today?
Can I speak first? Number one, it's an older brother syndrome.
No, he's better than you.
Tore his ACL and can still
and he's still breaks your ankle.
We love you, Paul. We love you, Paul.
Yeah, Paul, if you're listening.
Paul, if you're listening, we're talking about you live.
If you're one of those 30 listeners, we appreciate you. All right, so let's talk All-Star, JP. Did you watch the celebrity game?
I watched the celebrity game.
What was your thoughts?
Quavo's Eurostep is not actually a Eurostep.
To travel.
It's not that good. And they made it sound like his Eurostep is like Manu Ginobili's Eurostep. It's just not that good.
They want so bad for these celebrities to be good.
They're just not good. I don't know how they can't find 10 serviceable basketball players in all of entertainment.
Can you not get JT?
He played like 10 years. He hasn't played in a while. Kevin Hart's out. He wasn't in it this year. When Turtle from Entourage is by far the best baller out there, besides like Jason Williams and Nate Robinson. He can ball. He probably hang with us at
Canada. But when he's the best one, that's a weird thing.
You should be able to find some people that can play. Josh Duhamel's actually pretty good. He played in the game a few years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Josh Duhamel, the dude from Transformers, Fergie's husband.
Yeah, the very man who married the woman who butchered the national anthem. Oh my God! I listened to that today because I'm going to be honest with you.
I listened to like the last 20 seconds, the last stanza.
Draymond Green is doing like he's like licking his lips.
Every NBA player that was standing there at attention for the anthem was like they were giggling with each other at the end of this thing. It was a
somebody tweeted. Somebody tweeted at Donald Trump that here's the version of national anthem you deserve.
Oh man!
I don't know what Draymond Green was doing. He was literally licking his lips, and it was like, okay, yes, I'm just.
He's trying not to laugh. Yeah, he couldn't hold it.
He couldn't hold it. The cameras were trying so hard not to just stay focused on Draymond Green. They wanted to move it around, but they just realized that their best bet was just to get scenes from Draymond Green listening to this.
So JP, let's talk about our bets. So we did the celebrity game winner. I had Team Clippers, you had Team Lakers, and Clippers won. We did.
No. We had the girls.
We picked the coaches.
Nichols.
Yeah, you had Rachel Nichols and I had Katie Nolan.
Katie Nolan all day.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Katie Nolan. She's wonderful.
Of course, JP didn't know who Katie Nolan was. So.
She was really, really good looking.
So is Rachel, though. Like, you know, she's been around a while. Like she is a terrific journalist, but she's got her own.
I don't think that's what this podcast is about, though.
I really don't.
So you went 0 for 1 there. Then we did the skills competition. You went 0 for 2 there because my boy Spencer Dinwiddie lightened it up. last pick of the bet draft.
That was for this is your last pick. How is he your boy?
Oh, well, because he won. That's why. And and my boy Devin Booker winning the just demolishing the field in the 3-point. So I tweeted out from the at a podcast about something Twitter page. I tweeted out that I thought Tobias was not going to score more than 8 points in his first round. So I lost there, but I won.
It is PG-13 because Paul George literally bricked every shot out there.
And
no cursing.
You had to curse.
Jimmy, can you fix that for us, Jimmy?
We made it a few minutes, guys. We did
good. That's good for JP. So then you lost the dunk contest. 0 for 4.
My goodness. So here's my thing. A lot of people did like retroactive.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
So the number 1 throwback. Did you watch that side by side?
With the Nance? Yeah.
Actual dunk.
Yes. I'm on Twitter. Seen it.
It was very, good.
Solid insight, buddy. Way to go, Cott.
Am I wrong?
So no, you're right. That's why we brought you in for that type of analysis.
How the heck did Mitchell win with
Mitchell had 2 better dunks. I'll agree. Mitchell had 2 better dunks. Nance had 1 better dunk. Nance's double alley-oop to himself was a better dunk than anything else, but his first dunk was trash.
What was his first dunk?
I don't even remember.
Like under the backboard, like.
No, that was in the first round. I don't even remember what his first dunk of the second round was, but it wasn't very good.
No, I feel like it was his dad throwing it up to him.
Yes, that's what it was. That is what it was.
Who dunked over the Hart family?
Donovan Mitchell.
He's
the winner.
I saw Kevin Hart's tweets. He posted a bunch of pics like of him literally praying that nobody gets kicked in the back of the head on national television.
None of those people were over 5 feet tall, so I don't know why they didn't just stand.
You don't even have to put Kevin Hart there. Like, that is just a show.
That's cheating.
Kevin Hart doesn't have
Jump over somebody 6 feet.
At least.
Well, hold on. I say jump over somebody 6 feet. However, his wife is 6 foot. At least she looks it, standing next to Kevin Hart. But I think it wasn't she? Am I wrong? Didn't he dunk over the whole Hart family?
No, it was Kevin Hart, Donovan Mitchell's sister, and Kevin Hart's son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood that then.
Yeah, no, yeah. Donovan Mitchell's like 13-year-old sister was definitely taller than Kevin Hart.
JP looks tall next to Kevin Hart, but
JP's 5'10" if you ask him. That's his program height.
Program height. I was 6'3".
I forgot to mention, you also lost the MVP of the Rising Stars Challenge, Bogdan Bogdanovic, which he was one of my later picks too. I got lucky with a lot of late picks on this.
Who are we?
No, he wasn't the last pick. He was close to last though.
He was definitely your last pick because I tried to pick him.
Yeah, that's right. You did try and pick him. All right.
Let me go ahead and ask the question here. What was your take on the format? Like the LeBron
going into All-Star Sunday.
Like them changing the format, not necessarily going with conferences, but going with the stars, picking some draft picks.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
You like it?
No, it's solid insight, Cott.
Dynamite dropping.
Dynamite dropping.
Not trying to overstep Kalvin's.
Oh, you're good.
You're good.
Adam Silver said they're probably gonna televise the draft next year.
They should.
They
They did this in the NFL.
Reggie Miller said on the actual show, he said they just need to do it right before, like 20 minutes before draft the teams, go out there and play. These guys don't get practice together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That way, if they made this whole thing a live broadcast.
What, JP? Start over.
Start over, buddy.
Start over.
Miller and Miller. They're still here?
Who's Miller and Miller? What are you talking about?
Miller and Moulton? I was talking about Reggie Miller. I was talking about Reggie Miller.
That's what he said.
Yeah, we're cutting this part.
I'm not giving those guys
any credit for anything.
No, it was Reggie Miller that said that. He's a NBA analyst, several-time All-Star.
Good remember him. He played for the Pacers.
Yeah.
He was a thorn in the Knicks.
What college? Go ahead.
You tell me.
UCLA.
Oh,
There you go, buddy. Good job. See, and we're just trying to let JP prove his worthiness.
Yes, he belongs here.
He belongs here.
Listen, colleges and me are. Can we talk about college basketball again? Because we beat the number 8 team in the nation yesterday.
Who, Michigan?
We're not talking about college. This is not what we're doing here. We can talk about college basketball during March Madness.
We'll do this down the line, buddy. But
we'll bring you back.
We're not talking regular season college basketball. It doesn't get ratings, buddy. Ask the television networks that are forced into buying
Michigan beat the number 8 team, though, Eric.
I don't care.
Fight on.
He's a stud. Number 2 from Michigan is a stud.
You heard it here first, APA something.
Thank you.
Number 2 for Michigan is a stud.
We'll get into that down the line when they start when the seeding comes out. We'll talk about Michigan basketball a little bit later.
Well, we're supposed to be number 5 the thing ended right now.
So JP did get a big win. Pick the MVP, LeBron.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a tough pick.
Yeah,
LeBron, he was like the 8th person.
That's like picking Tiger of the Field in any PGA.
He was like the 8th person picked. I'll give JP credit. I wasn't going to pick him for another 2 spots because I figured LeBron had given up trying in All-Star games. I thought LeBron had given up trying in All-Star games, but he proved it with drafting his team. He wanted to win.
The only reason I kind of confirmed that line of thought is because, LeBron, obviously a guy that I listened to a lot, Colin Cowherd, he commented this morning about how the All-Star game seemed to matter to him.
Yes.
And those last 7 minutes, LeBron kind of led the charge and led everybody. Everybody was kind of playing hard, and they were taking
playing trap defense.
From LeBron James. And
Kyrie played defense? That's
Kyrie
weird.
was playing, yeah, that's weird.
Everyone was playing defense. Did you guys see that, like, end of the first half where, like,
Paul George trapped at half court?
And,
Yeah.
like, LeBron is cracking up. And Harden just looks at him.
I know.
It was on, like, SportsCenter today.
That was...
It was on TNT last night, too.
What happened?
It was on TNT last night.
Yeah, during the game,
That
remember?
was too late for me. I went to bed early.
I was watching The Princess and the Frog.
You didn't even have to work today. Why would you go to bed early?
I did not go to bed early. I was playing video games. I went to bed early.
Which game?
What were you playing, JP?
NBA 2K.
Oh, okay.
If you could give it a 1 to 10 rating, what would you give NBA 2K18? I haven't bought it yet.
I know you have it, which is really why I wanted to bring you over to beat you.
I haven't played video games I don't play video games anymore. I have children.
Let me ask you one
I'm an
more
adult.
question. Closing
Mature.
out our little NBA topic. A large debate.
Blake not make the All-Star game? I have no idea.
What?
How did Blake not make the
Why
All-Star
did-
game?
Blake Griffin?
You got Andre Drummond, don't be
It's because
greedy.
he can't shoot from 15 feet out.
You got Andre Drummond, don't be greedy.
Dude, Blake.
He's been on your team for 15 minutes. Don't go championing this guy like he's your long-lost brother. He just got traded there, and we just got done talking about he probably won't be there in 300
I can't believe
days.
Malcolm Brogdon didn't make the All-Star game. I can't believe it. Jabari Parker, he should be in there.
Can we just get Tayshaun Prince back? Like,
So we're doing the Rising Stars MVP
right.
picks.
Yeah.
I think JP picked Torian Prince of the Atlanta Hawks because I think he thought it was Tayshaun
I
Prince.
think he thought it was Tayshaun. No, I wanted to ask you, JP, on a serious note, like a quick question about the playoff format. And a lot of the debate on national media these days have been, what should they do about the playoff format? Because there seems to be a heavy imbalance as far as the conferences are concerned. Most of the stronger teams seem to be in the West, and you know, you have basically 3 or 4 contenders from the East. What would your opinion be on like a 1 to 16, like a 1 to 16 format, non-conference, like it doesn't matter, like countless
The
times
16 best teams, basically.
Yeah, we've seen eight seeds from like the East be significantly worse than like people that would probably be the 5 seed in the East if they just played in the East. So I was just wondering what your take was on having an all-inclusive, like doesn't matter what your conference is, playoff format.
Just do like a 1 to 16 across the board.
Exactly.
I feel like what's the point of playing the season then? Like, what's the point of having conferences?
There wouldn't be. You're right there, but they've already eliminated conferences in the NBA in the All-Star game. What do you need conferences for? It still determines your schedule because you play each in-conference team 4 times and each out-of-conference team 2 times. So it helps with scheduling, but the conferences don't really matter with the way travel works nowadays and their rest schedule. Conferences aren't as important.
It's not going to be in the East and West Conference anymore. It's literally
Just in the playoffs.
That's kind of the way. They're still going to have it, and your scheduling is still going to be, which I think they would have to change the scheduling format in order to accommodate that. But yeah,
but
so
like we play we as in the Pistons play the.
Obviously, you're on the team.
Literally like 6 times.
4 times.
And you wouldn't play somebody like Utah or Phoenix, you know.
4 times. You're right, Colin. 4 times.
So
I did just explain how the scheduling works.
no, but my point is that a lot of people seem to have an issue with that kind of playoff format, and I don't know why.
I like
to be honest with you. I think it's a good idea. Why not have the best organizations compete?
And so,
for the title every
JP, in
single
this
year?
scenario, you would get 1 playing 16 instead of 1 playing 8 and 1 playing 8. The 1 seed would play the 16 seed,
Exactly.
2 would play 15. So
And I think that's a great point.
it's more middle heavy.
How 1 and 16 teams play. Like,
Yeah, but it's middle heavy.
No, but I think the second, third, and fourth round of the playoffs would be even more. It would be richer with good playoffs.
Right, you would have
like
more good teams advancing.
You wouldn't see a team like the Cavs just marching
Have to beat
through
the Bulls and the Bucks and the
and not
Hornets.
that, but like the Warriors, what were they, undefeated up until the finals last year?
Right.
You might actually have them.
Tell me the last time the finals was a sweep?
I can't.
2001.
Yeah, I can't tell you that off the top of my head, but
exactly 2001 maybe.
But he's not talking about the final. The finals is always going.
I'm talking about having a richer product.
You're talking the second and third round is going to be a lot better because right now the second and third round are basically trash because the Cavs are going to advance and the Warriors are going to advance. So what's the point of watching?
It's going to be trash because now the Cavs have to play Celtics
in the first round, but in the second round they're going to play a better team.
They're going to play a team from the West. It's going to be a lot more difficult. Like the Warriors might have to go against some.
They'd have to play like the Spurs in the second round instead of playing the Hornets.
Change everything.
I personally don't like it.
JP's out on it.
All right, I'm in on it.
It was a good debate. I'm there. All right, JP. That's all the time we've got for you. Jimmy's giving us the red light. We got to move on to other business. But thank you for your insight.
Your insight.
We will be having you back again as long as you can clean up the potty mouth.
Once. Literally only cursed once.
Twice.
Dylan.
All right.
No, hey, playoff time. We're having you on.
Yep. March Madness. We'll be back at it. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, JP, thank you for that. Interesting take on everything.
He's our wild card, ladies and gentlemen. We love him.
That's why we have him here. Jimmy was working the bleep button real hard.
Just to explain who he is in our lives, this is a man I've known for about 10 years.
He's my brother-in-law.
He's
somehow.
your brother-in-law.
I don't know how that happened.
It happened very weirdly, and I love it. I think it's a very fun
We're not going to
dynamic.
go into that story.
However, this is a man I've known for over 10 years. I will say one thing. He's a terrific
good dude.
Social worker for these young kids at schools he works at.
He claims English isn't his first language. You might have picked up on that.
You might have picked up.
But he doesn't actually have a different first language, so it's shaky.
But anyway,
we love him.
My point is, we love him to death. He's
Thank
always
you for being on.
Giving us fun and insightful things to talk about.
He'll be back soon.
I love dropping it on him in his office because I get to work with him. So
I used to work with him.
Yeah. Anyway, we got our 2-minute
ISO. I'm going to go into. I've talked to you about this before. You said you didn't read this guy. This is Shea Serrano.
No, I'm going to start to now.
You need to.
Yeah.
Shea Serrano is phenomenal. He writes for TheRinger.com. Great website. We have shouted it out many times.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a writer by trade. He used to be a teacher in Texas. Still lives in Texas. He writes like you would just talk to your buddies. All his story, and like he says his editors hate him because he sends them these stories with huge run-on sentences, and he uses "and" 15 times throughout a sentence.
I hate that
as an editor, right? Yeah,
as somebody who writes a little bit, but it's just anyway. I would hate that, but in this context,
I'm very grammatically inclined, and I have a tendency. I love noticing it and calling it out as I love that he does it because it is.
I get it.
It's more familial when you're reading it. It's like you're sitting there talking to him.
And I enjoy that, so I'll definitely.
So he's written 2 books and been a part of a third. The first one that he didn't write, but he helped on, was the Bun B's rap coloring book.
What?
Yeah,
Bun B?
Yeah.
I love Bun B. I want to read
Check that one out. I don't know if it's actually a storybook. I haven't checked that one out. But Shea Serrano is involved in that somehow. So his next book, this was 4 years ago or so, was the rap yearbook. He took from 1979 to 2014. Every year he said, this is the song that, not necessarily the best rap song from that year, but the song that encapsulated the year the best. The rap song that encapsulated the year. Great. Hit #1 New York Times bestseller at one point. So then last year he released his second book, his coup de grace, as it were, Basketball and Other Things, or BOAT, as we in the FOH Army call it, and I'll explain the FOH Army in a little bit too, because that's just a great thing as well. But this thing is just phenomenal. He does 33 random questions, and a lot of the topics that we talked about here today come from Shea, and I want to give Shea a shout out on that, because without reading him, I would never think of these things on my own. Yeah. And we did it in a little different way, so I don't think it's completely plagiarism. But I don't really think he would care if it is, because that's kind of the way he goes. But this book hit #1 on Amazon bestsellers, or on New York Times bestsellers release week, which is amazing. It sold out on Amazon for pre-orders.
Wow.
6 months in advance. And then more pre-orders came in, and it got to number 1 on Amazon's list of recommended books several times before it even released. Mm-hmm. Just all based on his Twitter following. He's got 150,000 followers or somebody that are some of the most fervent followers ever. People are buying 10 books and sending to people. He did a promotion at one point of everybody in the FOH Army. We ordered books.
What does FOH stand for those of us?
I'll get there.
Okay.
I'll get there.
All right, you got it.
Basically, we all ordered the book. We all pre-ordered the book and had it sent to Kobe Bryant because he was feeling petty towards Kobe Bryant that week. So Kobe Bryant,
Serrano,
was
feeling petty that week, and so you guys all.
So I personally pre-ordered a book. I paid money, sent it to Kobe Bryant at the Staples Center.
That's awesome.
They all ended up getting returned by the Staples Center staff. But
so
I gotta imagine him just looking at 10,000 of these books, going, how did this happen? So the FOH Army, it stands for F out of here. The F word.
All right.
Because he would have a tendency of people telling things, you just F out of here,
Right.
So that was one of his go-to sayings.
I've had my students say that to me.
Yeah. That was one of his go-to sayings, and somehow his followers became the FOH Army, and we have done some amazing things, all based on Twitter. He got stranded in an airport one time, couldn't find his parking spot. Shea did. Mm-hmm. So some woman, that works in the parking lot with one of the little golf carts that drives around, she drove him around, helping him look for his car for 20 minutes or so, and he talked to her, learned her backstory. We gifted her $5,000 or $6,000 overnight.
What?
The FOH Army, just
awesome.
$5, $10 donations, coming in from everybody.
Amazing. That's really cool.
Basically, he gave it to her as a Christmas present. Just this random woman that worked at the airport. Yeah. Hurricane relief. We did $80,000. I want to say.
That's amazing.
Yeah, for Hurricane Harvey. No, I mean, but JD Watt's got $2 million. He's got 150.
Yeah.
We did something like I'm probably not right on these numbers, but I'm actually probably skewing lower.
No, but it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that this person has been able to influence so many people.
And it all starts with a tweet. Yeah, it all starts with he says, "Look, we're raising money. Everybody stand by. I'll tell you what it's for." Mm-hmm. Sometimes he doesn't even tell us the topic. People just start donating.
Good.
And I do it whenever I can. I'll put money towards whatever he's raising. When Hurricane Harvey hit and everybody was running their fundraisers, I specifically waited for him to start his before I donated.
You want to be part of that.
I wanted to be a part of his because that's what the FOH Army is. And I got a little patch that has FOH Army on it.
That's pretty cool.
He gives out to it. The guy that does all his illustrations for his books, I want to give a shout out to him too. Arturo Torres. Mm-hmm. He's at Arturo Draws on Twitter, and Shea's at Shea Serrano, I think. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, Jimmy, check that out for us real quick. Just get us the Twitter for Shea. That way we can
Arturo does these
people to the right place.
Yeah, Arturo does these bookmarks that they'll do giveaways.
SHEA.
SHEA. SERRANO.
Yeah, you just search for them there.
You'll find them. Search FOH Army. You'll find them real quick.
There you go. That's another way to do it. So that's terrific.
They do these bookmarks that are really cool. I guess just got a Giannis one a couple weeks ago. I got a Steph Curry one as well.
Oh yeah, Steph Curry.
He's great. Let me just at Shea Serrano, SHEA SERRANO. No fees or anything to be in the FOH Army. Follow him on Twitter. You'll want to get involved just because of how he is and what he's trying to do.
I dig it. I'm going to do my due diligence.
Yeah, go follow him on Twitter.
What I wanted to talk about with my little, choice is
2-minute ISO for Eric.
I stayed within the basketball realm, and it's not something I normally do, but college basketball has become a cesspool. And
I wouldn't know. I have not paid attention to it. I know Trae Young exists.
To be honest with you, I am so. I will open my little 2-minute ISO with this. I am so blessed to go to a school that I went to a school like FGCU, like Florida Gulf Coast. I am so blessed because of what happened with Dunk City in 2013 when that school took down Georgetown, took down San Diego State, who was a very great basketball team in that particular year. And nearly took down Florida on their way to.
Couldn't do it though. Go Gators.
But to see a school that just opened in 1997 as an online university, to watch that campus grow, and to do all this, that is basketball at its finest. That is college basketball at its finest. And to see what we're seeing now, and there are actually people being indicted on federal charges, corruption charges for this shoe scandal. That does not absolve any of these shoe companies. Under Armour, Nike, Adidas especially, they're all culpable. They're all culpable in this. They are trying to, and they were brought on basically on these sort of collusion charges.
Yeah.
This is federal crimes that people are dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
And these people just don't care. They want to see these people wearing their shoes, and they don't give a damn about amateurism whatsoever. And that takes away from the spirit of it all.
Well, the coaches are just as bad with it, too.
The coaches are just equally as bad. Rick Pitino, I'm sorry.
Worse, because the shoe companies aren't technically doing anything wrong.
Are you sure? But I'm just saying that, this all started with the Sonny Vaccaro thing. Mm-hmm. Like, it all... And I'm not going to go terrifically in depth about it, but my point being is it's just become so corrupt. Yeah. College basketball, AAU basketball, even high school basketball, it's dying. It's dying because everybody thinks there's this money to be made, and they forget about the joy that comes from.
Go play with the sweaty fat guy. That's joy.
Go play with the sweaty fat guy. He's not getting a shoe deal. But anyway, point being is,
sweaty fat guy got a shoe deal.
It's just to the point where this shoe money companies like Nike and Adidas and Under Armour and their fervor for gaining favorability in this particular industry. I get that it's business driven. I get that this is capitalism, and I get that this is on the table and there's money to be had. Okay, you're ambitious. That's cool. But at what cost? At what cost does this take on on the people who aren't good enough to be affected by this?
Mm-hmm.
It's killing high school sports. Kids are just bypassing high school basketball at this point to play for the AAU team because they know that's where they're going to be recruited.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're playing for an AAU team that's sponsored by
AAU basketball. I did
or
not
Nike or Under Armour. They're going to play in these little tournaments, and they're going to wear these shoes. They're going to wear these uniforms and these clothes. And then they're going to go to the schools that sponsor, these shoe companies sponsor, and then they're going to go to the NBA. Like, they try to get these kids on a track at the age of 15 to wear their stuff, and it honestly pisses me off.
I read Jalen Rose's book, which is another great read. Read Jalen Rose's book. He said it's been going on since he was in high school.
Oh, of course it has. Yeah. But it's only becoming, in the social media age, it's only just coming to a head.
More transparent.
And I'm so glad that we are finally, as the American government is starting to take notice of the corruption that's been going on in these sports.
In the government?
I don't care. I don't care that we're wasting money and resources investigating this, because this is actual business. Okay? Mm-hmm. These affect economies. The way these tournaments are distributed over the course of the country.
Place like Lexington, Kentucky, that's their whole...
That's Kentucky basketball. Gainesville, Florida. Football and basketball and baseball, that college, that entire community revolves around that college. You look at Austin, Texas, sure, it's a great epicenter of culture, and sure, but they love their Longhorns.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's corruption in these communities, that's just bad news. It's bad.
Well, it gets everybody involved because everybody's involved in the
I'm
school.
a University of Miami fan, and it's a black eye upon our university to be a fan of this university, to watch people like Nevin Shapiro take advantage of this publicity, to watch people. But these are worldwide organizations taking advantage of teenagers and their abilities and corrupting them to the extent that they actually break rules and they help these communities suffer in the event that they get caught. And I think that, and these companies don't suffer financially.
No.
These companies don't suffer in court. And now they're finally being taken to task. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I know I kind of went on my little rant about it.
Good.
But
I think we've never actually had a 2-minute ISO under 2 minutes. So just go with it.
But anyway, my last point is get rid of the one and done.
I agree.
Let high school players go to the NBA if they want to.
Because you're going to strengthen college basketball that way, because people aren't. It's a farce doing one and done. Nobody's there at school.
It's so bad.
If your choice is go to the NBA,
any of these people are
right. If your choice is go to the NBA or go to college, when you make that choice to go to college, you're going there to go to college. You're going to be there at least 2 years, probably 3, if not 4.
I wouldn't even care if you made the rule 2.
Right. Right. Just I think high school players should be able to try to go into the NBA. I think high school player or use the G League for that. Well, if you want to take a year off in the G League, go to the G League. Don't go on it. Like colleges should outlaw one and done. Like if you're going to be here,
the college game should outlaw it. The NBA might want it.
The NBA
because it's like a free farm system.
The NBA's rule is 19. It has nothing to do with college. You can go play overseas. You can play G League. You can play wherever you want. But kids are going to college, like you said last time.
Some of the best players in the NBA history, including the one we love the most, LeBron. I'm just saying, maybe not you, but he's the best player. He never went to college. No.
Garnett
never. I'm just saying Garnett. I mean, you're talking about the best players in history, and all of a sudden you want to change the rules to eliminate potential for these guys. If these are decisions these young men want to make as high school seniors to enter the NBA draft because they feel like they're worthy of it, let them.
And if they get worked by an agent, they get worked by an agent. That's going to happen after 1 year in college.
Surround yourself with better people to advise you.
A 19-year-old is no better prepared to talk to an agent than an 18-year-old is.
Exactly.
I guess he's got a college coach maybe helping him. Maybe a college coach is helping him talk to the agent at that point.
Which is also illegal. Which is also highly illegal. But my point being behind that is like, why in the hell does Anthony Davis need to even go to college? No, this is my point.
Why does anyone need to go to college?
But Anthony Davis, hey, if you wanted to come out of high school and go into the U.S. Army and go serve in Afghanistan, he sure as hell can.
Or can't literally any other profession. I mean,
can't have a legal drink yet, but
some 14-year-old creates an app. They're not going to tell him he can't sell it to Google because he's 14. Mm-hmm. Like, bring it back in 5 years. Google's not going to say that.
14-year-old from playing high school sports,
right?
But the moment LeBron James' mom gets him a Hummer because they realize that
I'm going to make millions of dollars in a year.
Yeah, I'm going to make millions of dollars in a year, and then they want to.
I'm pretty sure anyone is going to say, "Here's your line of credit, Miss James."
Exactly.
I don't think that's actually her last name, but.
Anyway,
you know the point.
The one and done, it needs to stop. I think it's killing the game.
I agree.
And
I don't think it's killing. I think it's killing college basketball a bit.
I've not watched a single minute of regular season college
basketball. I haven't in like 4 years. I don't ever I watch the tournament because the tournament's awesome.
The tournament's amazing.
But I have no stake in it.
Like Trae Young from Oklahoma. I know I sound like such a noob when it comes to basketball, and I shouldn't be talking basketball on a podcast, but Trae Young, I just put up these unbelievable numbers.
The point we're making is we are a basketball fan. We just talked about basketball for over an hour, and we don't know who the top players in college basketball are. Except for Trae Young. I know Trae Young's the only person I know.
Exactly.
I don't know anybody on the Gators team. Mm-hmm. JP didn't know who number 2 on Michigan was, and he actually watches college basketball. He's going number 2.
I'm willing to see what kind of team Miami's going to field in the tournament. Probably a Sweet 16 or less type of team. I can't name anybody on their roster.
No idea. Shane Larkin?
That was years ago. that was 2013 when FGCU beat Miami at FGCU, and I was sitting next to Jim Laranaga's brother at the game.
All right.
That was fun.
Congrats.
So, anyways, guys.
That's all we got for basketball, I think.
I'm your common basketball fan. No, I mean, I know. I'm just closing.
You're good.
I'm your common basketball fan. Like, I'm not an avid supporter.
I agree. Watch the NBA playoff, watch a game if it's on.
Things that need to be done to get me to watch more, and I don't think enough is being done. I think it's kind of alienating me.
You know what helps NBA basketball? NBA Twitter.
Okay.
NBA Twitter is amazing. So follow Shea Serrano. He's good on it. Mm-hmm. Follow Jason Concepcion, another writer for The Ringer. He's at Network. The E in Network is a 3.
Oh, cool.
And at Worldwide Wob. He's Rob Perez. He works for Cycle.
Mm-hmm. I think I've heard the name.
Yeah. World_wide_WOB.
Good. All right.
3 fantastic NBA follows. If you follow them and watch a game at the same time, it's amazing. They give commentary like you're watching with your buddies. And that's where basketball is great, is when you're sitting watching with your buddies and commenting on it. It's not as great sitting in your living room by yourself watching a game.
All right.
So NBA Twitter makes it feel
if you're
more
the
like that.
Common individual, the average guy that loves sports but maybe doesn't get too deep into like the NBA or college basketball, these guys are the people to follow.
I don't watch NBA games a lot, but I'll get on Twitter every morning and I'll look at what Wob tweeted. I'll look at what Shea tweeted and what Network tweeted. That's all I've got.
That's all I've got.
That's a good day. Talk some hoops. We got a Black Panther coming up later in the week. Real short one on Black Panther, and just our thoughts.
We got some unboxing to do for this. It won't be 2 hours.
Listen to Black Panther. Watch Black Panther first, then listen, and there will be spoilers.
Yeah, we're going to do a spoiler.
Listen to us on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud. Tune in. Hoping to get on Spotify soon. I got to work on that. Or Jimmy, you're going to work on it? All right, cool.
Anyway, just Google us.
Google us. Yeah, I'm sure we're at the top.
You can find us.
Twitter at APA something. Email us at a podcast about
guys,
something.
we would love to hear back from you. We would love to hear back from
Again,
you on format.
we need
what we want
more.
to talk about. We need ideas from you guys. So, hey,
We need more pickup
people.
t-ball
What
all-stars.
we're saying, rip us apart.
Rip Eric
ready
apart.
for it.
Don't rip me
Don't rip
apart.
him. He can't take it.
No,
I can.
soft.
All right. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Have a nice
Thank you
day.
so much. This was fun.
Stay classy.